Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're doing well. Excuse the wonky looking camera. You might notice it looks a little different than normal. I am using a GoPro tonight because I had some problems with my iPhone earlier. I usually use iPhone with a product called Epicam, and Epicam is far from epic this evening, having some program issues. So, in my haste to get on and provide quality content, I grabbed the GoPro, set it up best I could. It looks kind of strange, but it works. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Good evening to you. So, hi, Dean. How you doing? Welcome to the show as well. It is Friday evening. Just kind of discuss the week that was. Hope everybody did pretty well, sales-wise and otherwise. For those of us who live in my general area, hope we've all survived the smoke attack that we've been through. Unbelievable. Just awful. Today, it cleared up a bit this morning finally, but the majority of the week was brutal. We have a little dog who I wouldn't bring outside because I didn't want him choking to death. Hey, Craven, how you doing? Good evening. Yeah, glad to have you. Hi, Joe. How you doing? And Jim is here. Welcome, Jim. Welcome to the program. So, yeah, crazy week with that kind of stuff, but I'm glad it's hopefully past us at this point, and we can move on and get to bigger and better things. I have a concert coming up on Sunday. I'm excited to be playing. We're playing outside, and that was in jeopardy as recently as 12 hours ago. Actually, they were having a committee discussion this morning to see if it was feasible to get everybody, outside. It's like a big outdoor amphitheater sort of situation, but we're clear. We're good. No more hazardous breathing conditions. So away we go with the show. I can't wait. Hey, Empty Nesting Maria, how you doing? Welcome to the show. And how you doing, Ralph? Great to have you, man. Great to have you. So that was a smoke situation. That's gone. Concert coming up Sunday. That's to come. What do we talk about tonight? Well, I did a video earlier this morning. I released it at 10, basically discussing just some strategies. I was kind of thinking out loud about trying to generate some more daily income for me, for the store, because I'm extremely heavily vested. I have 5,700 listings, of which, I don't know, 85% are ephemera. Love ephemera. It's not a problem. Postcards and print ads primarily, but the slow moving element of those products, if I had 50,000 listings, I'd sell a lot more a day. Anyway, we all know that already, and we're all huge fans of the stuff, so I'm not dismissing the stuff whatsoever, but I'm going to try to incorporate, I already started this process earlier in the week, other things that we have in back of this green screen. The green screen is up because I have the GoPro, and it just didn't look good with the background. So I have a blank green screen. I didn't want to risk any issues because sometimes when I put that background, the camera acts a little weird. So I figured we'll just keep it simple, green screen and a camera, right? But anyway, I have a lot of stuff behind that green screen, a lot of stuff we could sell that I've been sort of putting off because I've been so head over heels with the ephemera stuff, which I do love. And I just want to, in addition to listing the stuff like I've been listing the postcards and the print ads, I'm just going to start focusing on getting rid of some of the junk in back of me that's sellable, that would move quickly. I've been selling CDs this week pretty well. Like I list them, they sell in a day or two. Not big bucks, same thing, $8, $9, but they're all my discs that I've had for whatever amount of years since they've been out. And I make sure they're all clean, and I got some brand new cases that I ordered that were pretty cheap. So if the case is damaged, I just put them in a case. It doesn't cost a lot, but it means a lot for presentation. So I've been selling those. I have, as I've talked about a lot, I have tons of 78s. I have tons of records. So that's my first ploy, is to try to get the multimedia stuff, the records, the music up. And I will hope to see some quick returns on a lot of that. And then in addition to that, we do have lots of Disney things back there and bins, unopened stuff that I know are desirable. So just again, it's just a ploy, if you will, but it's a tactic that I want to employ to bring in some more daily sales. And then as the ephemera numbers, as far as listing volume increases, I expect that those will sell more regularly and more frequently, and we'll be in good shape. Joe, we get smoke like that every summer, no big deal. Well, it's a big deal if you have to play outside and they cancel shows and things. That's the big deal about it. And it was dangerous. I mean, there was a point where it said hazardous yesterday. A screen I never even knew existed on a weather app I have or something, an air quality report. It was hazardous for like the last 2 days. Now it just says moderate. Hey, CJ, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Great to have you as always. Hi, Leland. Yes, fellow entrepreneurs. That's one of my favorite greetings in all of YouTube. Any model kits? It's a good question. My wife is a huge fan of, when you say models, I mean, there's different types of models. She does, is it called diamond art? Something like that. She does that. She used to do something called pixels. We have tons of puzzles. We have models, but they're almost like, not traditional. Like when I hear the word model, I'm thinking of like a model car or something. We have things like, not landscape, excuse me, buildings like the Empire State Building. Do I have one here? I do have one here. Here's one she made for me. It's almost like a mini erector set, but this kind of a thing, this is technically a model. Like she buys it and then puts it together. We have much larger ones. We have like a Notre Dame model that she made out of miniatures. I was just informed, miniatures. But yeah, I'll take a look if you're interested, Dean. Definitely. We have lots of stuff. We have so many things that aren't even opened, and it wasn't from reselling. It's just stuff we've accumulated. So you started end and sell some of your items scheduled to end each day. Outstanding sales since you've been. That's fantastic, Jim. Keep it up. 1/25th scale cars. Cool. Yeah. I sold not too long ago. My dad had I don't remember let me see if I can pull it up. It was a die cast model of like a 1949 or 1950 vehicle. I don't remember what it was. Let me see if I could find it. But we sold that maybe a month or so ago. But that was something he brought in. If I could find it, I'll let you know what that was, Dean. Yeah, man, absolutely. Thanks for asking. Appreciate it. But yeah, that, to your point, things like that. Toys, somebody mentioned toys being, actually it was Queen of Canada Dawn herself mentioned toys in a comment on the video. Something I don't really have toys anymore, but we could certainly source toys. I know they're out there. I know a lot of people make lots of money, even pieces, like everything else, parts that people have lost over time can sell. Got to admit, I'm spoiled by all the things that most people are enamored by when it comes to the paper products, is the simplicity of storage, how tiny it is, how light they are, all that good stuff, which I love. So to get into other things is fun, most of which we already have. Like I'm not even looking to go out and source much yet. Of course, if something comes along and I think, hey, I sold a couple of, like what Dean said, if we find 3 models back there and they sell really quickly, hey, maybe I'll be out on the lookout for some more models. But the first approach is going to be go back into the Sea of Tranquility and back of me and go through some of the bins that we have and have had for 25 years and see what's in them. A lot of stuff is sealed. We have sealed board games right in front of me, actually, tons of board games that we bought that we wound up never playing. So like some of that might be, if we want to consider getting rid of those or selling those, that might be something I do. But the big ones for me, because it's something I like and know a lot about and have had success with, is the CD record 78 thing. So I'm definitely going to try to, expand on that. Somebody also asked in a comment about potentially doing a video about shipping on those things. I'd be happy to do that if anybody's interested. 78s, if you don't know, quite fickle, very brittle, kind of rough to ship. But I've had knock on wood, had a lot of success. I haven't had anybody say that it was broken or anything. But some people, not maybe, you're new to it, you're not used to having to ship 78s. They're extremely fragile, and it's disappointing sometimes when somebody spends money and they've been looking for a record for years and years and it arrives broken. And the post office, not the most I shouldn't say that. The post office tries their best, I'm sure they do, but like anything else, when something's that fragile, law of averages, the more you send, inevitably 1 or 2 might arrive broken. So I try to make every effort to protect them best I can. But regular records, I'm going to have, thanks to Popeye again, John, if you're in, happy Friday. But Popeye hooked me up with, 100 record boxes for free that he had got from eBay. And since he doesn't do records, he doesn't need them. But I love them, and they're going to come in really handy for me in the weeks to come, that's for sure. CDs, if anybody has some CDs to have lying around the house. I'm kind of upset because a few months ago I did a Whatnot and virtually gave away a bunch of CDs on Whatnot, for very little. But that's okay. At one point I had literally thousands of them. Now I'm down to a few hundred of them. And that's another kind of thing that's super easy to source and super cheap. You can usually get them for $1, which is just outrageous, isn't it? When you consider how much they always used to cost. It blows my mind. You can get a used CD for $1 or something. But anyway, that's the way of the world right now. So that's another thing I could easily pick up. The place I talk about all the time is called Booth's Corner. It's an antique mall that we go to on weekends once in a while, my wife and I. They have boxes and boxes and boxes of CDs. So pretty much could replenish that supply. Even if I run out of what's left of my collection, I could definitely replenish it going over there, picking them up. You probably find them at estate sales, all the usual suspects. But that's really it. Didn't want to get too deep into it, but that's it. I've kind of come to the realization I need to supplement a little bit and get some other stuff in just to keep constant action while building this, this mound of paper I have, while getting that up listed. It's going to take a lot. That's what I alluded to in the video. It's going to take time to get all those things up, which I'm already doing and more than willing to keep doing. But it's just too slow right now with 5,700 of them, or let's say 5,200 of them. I need to get a lot more up. So I'm going to do that. And along with doing that, list the other stuff. I'm sorry, did I miss a comment? I saw somebody I didn't say hi to, I think, as I scroll back up. Who was? Oh, Vintage Memories. How you doing? The no hat look? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not a constant. It's more a matter of laziness than anything. I'm always working in the house and stuff, so sometimes just throw a hat on. But anyway, yeah, guys, that was the video. I hope you had a chance to check it out. If you haven't, after the live show, if you want to check it out, just basically a summary of what I've just gone through for the last 12 minutes here on the live show. Am I talking about your ads? As far as what? As far as the ephemera stuff? Yeah, that's a huge point. Now postcards, the postcards and ads make up 5,200 some odd listings. Again, as I said in the video, and I will reiterate here live, I love that stuff. I'm not stopping that stuff. Far from it. In fact, I want to double down on the amount that I get listed. I just want to, and basically what I've been doing that I think has been to my detriment is I've just solely focused on those paper items and nothing else, really, with very few exception. Like this week, for example, when I started doing some CDs and I saw them flip, 2 days after I listed them. Not big bucks, but volume, and they're super easy. They ship media mail. I have perfect little bubble wrap things, and I have little plastic bags. I cover them to make sure they don't get wet. So they ship really simple. They're 4 ounces, 5 ounces for a double disc. I sold Kiss Alive, which is a great album. That broke my heart a little bit because I had that. All these are my CDs that I'm selling. I didn't source any. I didn't go and pick up a bunch of junk. They're all my old personal records that I've had forever, so it's kind of a sin, but it's okay. I have most of them in triplicate, on actual records. And nowadays you could look up any song you want and play it instantly. So I figured, why not capitalize on some of that? And in so doing, clear up a little space too. But yeah, the ads, the postcards, again, I want to continue to do what I'm doing. I'm just adding to my own plate, which is fine with me. I need to do that. So instead of just solely focusing on print ad, postcard, any other ephemera I can get my hands on, because I like to do it. It's simple. It's, easy to list, easy to ship, all that stuff that we love. I'm going to start incorporating, if I find some toys or models or anything back there in the abyss, I'm going to get them up. That's all. So I might let the ES400 stop smoking for a few minutes and go, okay, let me take I have a photo booth like a lot of us probably do. And, take some pictures of some toys or some, whatever else we have. Some Disney tchotchkes that we have. We have tons of Disney. Oh, I also listed, I might have mentioned this in a year or so past, a year and a half now that I've been on, but we used to get my wife worked at the Disney store, and every year when they released the videos and then later the DVDs, they'd make a big announcement. Snow White, the classic, is coming back for a limited time. And they would often, to try to draw people into getting on a list to pre-order them, they would give out these like limited edition lithographs, which are actually very, very nice. Well, we got all of them for years, never touched them. We just put them away for a rainy day. Again, they don't sell for great money, but you could probably get, depending on the movie, $15-20 per, and they were free to us. They also they fit perfectly in my rigid mailers that I use for the print ads, and I use the same plastic bag to protect them. So it's cake to ship them. They go first class, same thing, maybe 8-9 ounces. You get like 3 or 4 really nice lithographs inside. They usually are in like a containing fold, like a cardboard folder. Things like that. Disney is Disney, and being Disney, very, very collected, very, very popular, searched constantly. Hey, what's up, Brian? A constant dilemma of yours, list the longer tail paper or the items are more likely to sell. I just want to get more of a balance. I've been so completely vested in the first part, list the paper, because I love it, because the profit is, the return on the paper is one of the big things for me that, as discussed 100 times, the postcards are costing $0.25 or less. Print ads, if you net it out per print ad, $0.01. I mean, I can't even do the math on that. They're so virtually free and such an abundant source. I have so many to get up. So that's the wonderful thing. When you have little to nothing, you hear people use that expression, I got nothing into it. I literally have almost nothing into them per piece. It's barely registerable on the currency scale. So of course the temptation, if I can get $15 for something that cost a penny, I think we'd all do that no matter what it was, right? So I like that. And I was, continue to be, but I was just completely focused on nothing but that stuff. And I have to change that approach a little and tweak it and just add these other things. That's all. Just try to get some more stuff. Bottom line is Disney sells. Is correct, Florida Man Jim. Disney everything sells. You put the Disney, branding on a plush, on a t-shirt, on a hat, on Mickey ears, on a movie, on anything, on any clothing, shoes. Yep, toys, figurines, all that stuff. Yes, music, actually records, 45. I have a bunch of old Disney 45s that are in really good shape from the 50s. And they sell great. The picture books that you've probably seen a million times in estate sales, pick those up. Anything you see in Disney, if anybody doesn't know this, you see Disney anything out there pretty within reason and within, your budget, pick them up because it's going to sell. Good condition. There's just such an voracious appetite for Disney stuff, Disney product in general. And it's never satiated. What's up, Kelly? With the postcards, take Mark's approach and do a mixture of topics. Oh God, yeah. I'm out of the World's Fair now, thank God. And I have, a couple thousand before I did maybe, I don't know, 1,000 or so, at least 1,000 or so of just the, the regular state views and things listed before I did the World's Fair stuff. The World's Fair stuff is doing well. I'm happy about it. Now I went into the Christmas stuff that I did on the live show a couple of days back, Monday night. But yeah, again, this is not giving up on anything. Far from it. I'm doubling down on the postcards and doubling, as far as listing, doubling down on print ads. I just need to incorporate other things for my store to succeed. That's all. And again, in so doing, clear up a lot of the stuff that we've been saying for years we're going to clean up that just sits there. So that's the methodology. That's the thought process behind all of this. Hopefully it makes some sense. It makes sense for me and my business. And that's all. So I wanted to share that was my philosophy. Whether it works for you or not is totally up to you. Whether it's something you've considered, if you're heavily vested in any one specific product. Again, there are people that do, I know very famously, that do nothing but, men's sneakers or something and make a fortune, or, name your product, or specialize in one category and that's it. And they make money hand over fist. All that's fantastic. And for me, it's about, with those type of things, usually replenishable volume, demand, all that good stuff. And so I just want to get the numbers up for the paper, for the postcards, for the print ads, the volume up in my store physically. And while that's occurring, sell CDs, sell toys, sell Disney stuff, which I've been basically neglecting for the better part of a year now because I've been so focused on this other stuff. That's really it. Hopefully it makes some sense to some. If it doesn't make sense to you, that's fine. Maybe you're not in the same situation as me. I'm just, it's one of those things that takes, what did I say on the video? I was going to do like a little self-therapy. It's just one of those things, like when there's nothing to, it's not, to me anyway, I'm not worried about like eBay glitches and stuff. That affects everybody. If it really is an eBay glitch, it's a universal thing usually, and we're all impacted. That's just going to happen. That's the way of the world. That's fine. You fix, you tweak, you do what you got to do to get around and sell similar, for instance. You do what you got to do to work around those things. Those are just problems that are going to pop up whether we want them or not. The other stuff is self-ownership, and it's what you sell is the famous byline. For me, I'm thinking to myself, what am I selling? So I did this sort. I just downloaded everything I had listened. It was like 90%, something like that, 88% print ads, postcards is my store with a little less than 6,000 listings. So if it was 60,000 listings, I don't think I'd be worried about anything, but it's not. It might be, it could be. I have to do that. But until then, I have to make some money. So it's time to get rid of the stuff that we have down here. CDs, if anybody, again, I'm just going to mention it one more time because a lot of people have them. They're super easy, just like the things a lot of us love about paper. They're super light. They're very easy to ship. They really don't take up a lot of space. In fact, the cardboard boxes that I bought for postcards, we were a little ambitious. We overbought. We have more than we needed. I was like, oh man, what are we going to do with these stupid boxes? I think they're like 14 by 5 or 6 wide by 4 or 5 high. Well, guess what they're perfect for? CDs. So I just put a bunch of, organized my CDs nice and neatly, As I said earlier, I picked up a box of like 100 brand new cases, which are really simple to, switch out if my cases have cracks and stuff. So simple to just switch it out, put everything into a new case. It looks like it's a brand new thing. But I can store them with those boxes that I had picked up initially for the postcards. So I'm using them for the postcards, but we got like 200 boxes and we don't need 200 boxes. So I'm very happy about that I can use this stuff that I already had and was going to basically be taking up space. Now I can put it to good use and organize my CDs, but they are great. CDs, like everything else old is new again, right? His expression. Finals back with a vengeance. 78's 100 years old and people still buy them and like them. Might as well get rid of them, make some money. With postcards, it's normal to see a 1 order per day average. Once you hit 5,000, it might take a couple of years to 20. See a dozen a day. Yeah, and that's totally true. And again, it's not something I'm looking to do is stop, but I could see that if you have nothing else, or if all you know or all you want to do is postcards, that's a tough way to get by if you're selling a postcard a day for $6. You're not going to be able to feed yourself if you're doing that. So anyway, I mean, that's part of the dilemma. For me, that's not what I want. So I'm going to keep doing it till I get to whatever the number is, whatever the magic number, 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever it is that you think you can get 10 a day. But even 10 a day is only like $50-$60. So, and you could theoretically sell, a Disney plush for $50-$60. So just the stuff I already have, hard goods or whatever you want to say, I just want to make sure that giving my store the best opportunity to sell volume on a daily basis, to sell consistently, have multiple sales every day, bring in money, clear out the house to make more room for more postcards. Even Cameron is mixing in hard goods. Yeah. Even Cameron, you don't say. Yeah. It's something I used to do exclusively, basically before the print ads. It was all, well, dare I say the word clothing. I'm not doing clothing because we don't have any and I have zero ambition to get into clothing, but with exceptions, a Disney t-shirt, for example, that might be worth something. If anybody doesn't know, we go to Disney World all the time, and down in Disney World, there were some outlets in Orlando that basically, like, let's say Disney is doing the Halloween party, right? So they have Halloween merchandise. Well, after the Halloween party, it's pretty much useless. So they give a portion of it to these outlets where you can get it for like 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar of what they were originally selling for in the parks. And there's still a demand for that stuff. That's a great place to source. If anybody lives down there, if anybody doesn't know that or goes frequently, go to those Orlando outlets. You can pick up some decent stuff, like I said, pay 10, 30 cents, let's say, on the dollar for it, and then go into eBay and sell some of that stuff. We had some success with from Epcot, but like Flower and Garden Festival, which is going on still right now until I think the end of June. It's usually from like March till June or so. Things like that. Again, they have specialty products just for these events, Food and Wine Festival in the fall. Once that thing expires, a lot of people that are Disney nuts that weren't able to go down, let's say, to this year's spring event in a couple of months, they're like, oh, I really wanted to get that, that sippy cup with Minnie Mouse on it or whatever. So I have them. I have some nice pins that I have up for sale, like that. We have cast member exclusive stuff because of when I worked in Disney World, when my wife worked in Disney Store, we still have a bunch of cast exclusive stuff. So anyway, it's just stuff we've been clinging on to and letting sit there because I've been focusing so heavily on the paper stuff. So it's just time to get them in the mix. What does he mean by that? By which? Hey, Grant, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Yeah, which part exactly? Hi, Grant. Hi, Vintage Memories. You only have 2,100 listings, but too many categories. You have a goal to get down to 6 main categories? Niching down, as I say. Cool. Yeah. Virtually anything you sell, there's going to be pros and cons. And that's certainly one of the ones with clothing is that there are going to be a lot of returns, but it's also a dare I say, if anybody knows the math behind it, but I would gather it's probably the most common thing to resell is clothing, shoes of all the categories out there. CDs are one of Grant's biggest sellers. Yeah, man, you can get them dirt cheap if you don't have a bunch on your own. Like everything else, there was, demand is starting to increase for them. They ship media mail. They weigh 4 ounces, if that, with a nice solid bubble mailer. List them in lots. It's a great way if you just want to blow out a bunch. Lotting up CDs is one of the better things you could do. I did that a couple of years ago before I got into the print ad stuff, and I had a lot. Again, I wish now I didn't do this, but I don't know, maybe 5 years ago at this point, 5 or 6 years ago, I lotted up, and I would create my own little lots, like based on the category of music, like blues. Here's 10 blues CDs. Here's 10 country CDs. Here's 10 classic rock, as they call it now, whatever. And they would sell like wildfire, or an AC/DC lot or a Zeppelin lot. Zeppelin, there's so many bands that you can't. Of course, the Beatles. There's bands you can't go wrong with in both vinyl and now CD. Beatles, Zeppelin, Queen is super popular nowadays, of course. Sabbath is popular. There's a bunch of them. One order per day. What do you mean by that, Kelly? One order per day. Oh, well, I'm sure he'll explain that they don't. If you don't have a certain amount of volume of postcards, unless they're really extraordinary postcards, like real photos that are kind of one of a kind, your day-to-day bread and butter postcards are usually like $5, $6, $7. And if you don't have the volume, typically they're going to be hard to sell every day. A handful of them every day. You need to get more volume until you get to a point where you can sell multiple day. Usually, if it's just your kind of run-of-the-mill typical postcard. And again, they do sell, and they are fantastic return on investment, and they ship very cheaply with the standard envelope, and they're easy to store, and they're easy to list. All the great things. They're all still great. They're all still great. Postcards have a 1 to 5% sell-through, slow sellers, so you need to lot up. You need a lot up, correct? Yeah, exactly. No doubt about it. Hey, Nova Crow's Nest, how you doing? You could never niche down to just one thing. I understand people that do more likely to be an expert. Yeah, without question. Yeah. Keyword there, enjoy. That's a whole huge portion of this entire conversation as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, exactly. It's always helpful. I don't subscribe to the notion you have to do what you enjoy necessarily. If you find you could have zero interest in sneakers, but the sky opens one day and 1,000 pair of sneakers fall into your lap by whatever reason, and you start selling them for $100 a clip. You're like, well, guess what? Now I'm into sneakers, even though I have no real interest in them. They're making me money. So I'm kind of open when it comes to that. I prefer, of course, I enjoy postcards. I enjoy print ads. I love music with a passion. It's my life, good portion of my life. I love Disney stuff, but it doesn't mean if, again, to the point earlier on by Dean about, car models, which I know nothing about. But if I have a bunch of them back there, I'll learn the best I can. And if I'm making money with them, they'll put a smile on my face and I'll get more into them. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. If you have like real photos or something and you're selling one for $100 a day, then maybe you can, that's 3,000 less fees and all that stuff. It's something. Yeah, man. Kelly is good people. Kelly loves postcards as well. Heavily vested in postcards. We sell die-cast cars to collectors, 118th, 124th, and 134th, 64th, Hot Wheels. The Danbury Mint ones often sell into the hundreds. Really? Danbury Mint, Franklin Mint, Hamilton, the beginnings of my existence. Not so much Danbury. I don't really have that many Danbury. But, I'm sure all of us who have resold for any period of time, you come across the dreaded, collector plates. My new nightmare is the Gone with the Wind. I might have mentioned that in the last show. I have, 10 Gone with the Wind plates that just don't sell at all. And when they do, they're like $5. They look all fancy with these certificates of authenticity. The only good thing for me is I've sold some Star Trek ones, which I picked up in a lot a couple years ago, and they do sell, and $20 or so, which is actually pretty good for that stuff. The great benefit for me is the ones that I bought were in their original boxes, like with the styrofoam and stuff already in it. They weigh just over a pound, like a pound and an ounce or something. But anyway, I take a picture and I close the box up and I ship it just like that. So they're very, very simple to ship, which if I didn't have all the original stuff might be a little bit getting back to the fragility of certain items. Certainly plates in China are going to be fragile. So, but anyway, I'm trying to get rid of like the dreaded, the Gone with the Wind stuff. Those are just awful. My wife, we live very close to where Franklin Mint used to be. They just closed one of the big Franklin Mint things by us in a town called Media, I believe it is, in Pennsylvania. The place was around forever, and they just closed a few years ago. But anyway, because of the proximity, my wife's family, who all grew up in this area, they have tons of Franklin Mint stuff, all this commemorative, special edition, blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, it's all worth like virtually nothing, which is very frustrating because we had basically an inn with like a huge supply of stuff, and nobody cares about them. Must be a supply demand thing. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has lots of them. That's cool, Dean. I don't know anything about cars. If anybody wants to talk cars with Dean, Dean's your guy. I don't know anything about like Matchbox or anything of that stuff. You think part of what's happening for a lot of us is summer slowdown? Well, yeah. Yeah, I think that's an absolute. There's probably multiple factors. It's very rarely one thing that's either giving you success or giving you, less successful weeks and months. It's usually a combination of factors, I think, anyway, and that's part of it. Even though technically it's not even summer yet. Hate to break that to everybody. We still have 13 days or something, whatever, till summer. So, and Kelly wrote that in a comment. He's like, "Well, it's summer slow down in June and July." And I said, "Yeah, well, my summer started in February. Unfortunately, that's when my numbers started really tanking. So just trying to help myself. Hey, Karen, how you doing? And anybody else who's in a quasi similar boat as me, potentially, just throwing out ideas. You gotta keep trying, right? Great to have you, Karen. Hopefully the air is clear by you finally. Yep. Well, June and July. Again, mine have been very, very slow since February. Thousands of CDs listed. Awesome. Again, so we have several votes for CDs. And this is something, again, you'll find in virtually any home or, your own collection, potentially. If you just want to keep them, they still sound, as much as I love records and always have long before CDs were out. And then after which, when they went completely out of fashion and you thought you'd never see them again. And now they're back with a vengeance. But anyway, I've never been anti-CD. They still are phenomenal sound. They're going to beat the sound of any streaming thing you could ever play. And I'm not a kid, I use the kid term politely. I'm not like my kids' age or whatever, where they grow up and they listen to stuff on their phones. I don't do that. I listen on a stereo. Like, I have really good equipment. I'm a music person. So I'm not listening to MP3s and all that junk. But anyway, put a CD in your stereo with a good player. My God, it sounds phenomenal. So I love CDs. The concept of them, the portability. Treat them nice, and they sound fantastic. We do both, Ralph, and last month was our biggest ever. You do both, Ralph. Which one? Leland? Yeah, are you referring to this statement, Leland? But anyway, without question, summer slowdown is inevitable, and I think virtually anybody experiences it no matter what you do. And that's certainly on the way if it hasn't started already, excuse me. Leland, when it's going good, ride the wave. Absolutely. Overproduces. What a great way to put it. Yes. Yeah, plates are awful. Everybody has them. It's it's one of those things where it looks like it's a steal almost. For me, I'm a estate sale person. My wife and I both love estate sales. When we do source, that's our primary source of sourcing. Usually is estate sales, and you're going to find them in almost any home. Hamilton. So say Hamilton Beach. Hamilton is a big one. They do the Star Trek ones. Yeah, the Franklin Mint stuff. And we don't just have plates. We have little figurines and things like pewter, I don't know, elephants and stuff like that I thought, my poor wife, she's like, honey, look, I got all this stuff. It's brand new. And she's seeing dollar signs thinking it's going to be, this boatload of cash coming our way. And they just sit there. They don't sell it all. And if they do, they sell. You have to mark it down to 80%. Your sales are up 80% year over year, but you also added two. That's phenomenal. About 50% to 22,000. Well, volume. Exactly. Yeah, it's fantastic work, man. Congratulations. Movie CD. Absolutely. I believe it, Jim. Like most things, uncommon is good for pricing. So your Zeppelin 2 album will sell on CD for $8, $9, $7, $5. But there's certain genres within CD, some classical CDs, foreign CDs, any CD that doesn't have a barcode, of which I have a lot of them. Just, more scarce music and records, you probably get, more of a premium for them. But that's a great suggestion. Soundtrack records could be pretty good too. But it's just something I want to talk about because I love them personally anyway. And very encouraged by the way they sold this past, I think I started on, what's today, Friday? I started like midweek last week. So let's say about 10 days ago, listening to some CDs. And how many do I have? I think I have like 100 listings already of CDs. Now they take some time to list, although with this guy, which is my little UPC scanner thing, if it does have a barcode and you list one CD, let's say, and it has a UPC code in there, it's really cool. You could just put the prompt when you're making your listing, put the cursor in the UPC field, scan the other one. And if it pulls up a result, which they don't always do, it'll populate all that stuff for you, which is really cool. So, and sometimes it even puts a picture like a generic picture of the cover, which is fine with me because Discogs, which is a fantastic platform for all things music, you never upload a picture when you list something on Discogs. They always have like a canned cover. A cover's a cover, and then you can speak to damage or anything. It doesn't really apply too much with CDs because they're usually in pretty good condition. The CD itself certainly, and even the cases. And if they are scratched up or cracked, if you consider yourself somebody who wants to sell CDs, to make some money, I would highly recommend investing. You can go on Amazon. They're not that expensive. I just get like a box of replacement for those cracked ones and stuff, and it improves the quality instantly. Instead of putting up a listing with a bunch of scratches and stuff, it just doesn't look good. And its presentation is everything. How many CDs do I have listed right now? I have, and this number is going up, folks. I even started listening to cassettes too, which, believe it or not, still sell as well. 167 CDs and counting. And I sold lots of them. Like I said, 4 or 5 years ago, I sold lots of like 20 discs at a time. I kind of wish I had held on to them now because I could sell them individually for $5 to $10 a piece. Then I have a flat rate of $3 for media, so that covers most of it. Sometimes like $3.56. I'll eat the 50 cents, and just charge $3 flat cost for media mail for CDs. So they ship cheaply. They pay that price, and I've never had anybody complain. Because why would you sell a $5 CD with free shipping? Kind of silly. Air is a bit clearer. Your sales are also down. You just keep listing, but it does get depressing working, and all the stats are down. Agreed, Karen. Which prompted, if you didn't see my video this morning, I'd appreciate it if you check it out. Maybe it'll help you psychologically. Like it helped me. It was my own therapy session, basically saying, to recap one more time, that in addition to the paper stuff and ephemera that I love so much and I've been listing exclusively virtually for the last year or so, I'm going to start incorporating CDs, music that I have tons of already, Disney stuff, hard goods, whatever it takes to just bring in some sales. While at the same, again, the key here is not abandoning the paper because that's counterproductive. Keep the listing process I have in place. Do 100 postcards a day, do 50 postcards a day, whatever it is, and then go back and list 20 CDs, and then go grab a Disney video. You know what I mean? Just keep it more variety. I just want more variety to try to generate more activity in the store. So I'm not, eggs in one basket, all those cliches and all that. It's true. My basket has been built solely on print ads and postcards pretty much for last year. There you go. Congratulations, Jim. Yes, please. Thank you for the reminder, by the way. If you have a moment and you'd like to leave a thumbs up on the program, I would really appreciate it. You might get a sale, which is always a good thing. But from the heart, I just hope you enjoy the content and would consider giving a thumbs up if you do. I'd appreciate it. And like I also said in the video, this is a totally different conversation, but really quickly, because I know some of you guys do YouTube. If you do YouTube, I have very rarely looked at or really dove into the statistics and stuff, the analytics that are built within YouTube. You can get lost in that. There's just tons of information. Generally speaking, I like that kind of stuff, but I haven't really delved into it too much with YouTube. Well, anyway, it gave you a breakdown. It gives you a breakdown video by video, playlist by playlist of all sorts of stats. And one of the big ones that jumped out at me this morning, which is why I mentioned it in the video, was that, man, let's just say this video gets 200 views or whatever. Live don't do great, but that's okay. Live video, I don't care. 200 people, I appreciate 200 people watching it. 200 people watch it. It's turning out that like 100 are subscribed and 100 aren't. Almost that ratio. It's a little better than that. It's like 60-40. But if you are watching it and you enjoy it, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel just to help get my numbers up with the subscriptions. It makes it all work better. But it's just shocking. I didn't realize I had so many people that enjoy it and watch, and they're watching every show, but they're not subscribed. And it's, again, I'm going to take ownership and say, I don't think I've ever said during a live show, would you please subscribe? But would you please subscribe if you haven't, or consider subscribing? I would love to have you. Need to mention that. You're silently impressed with Kelly listing 22,000 on workbook. Oh, are you kidding me? Absolutely. He'll get all shy about it, but he does great work. He really does. He's helpful. I have a lot of CDs, and he works very hard. I have a lot of CDs too to go through and list. Yep, something different, easy to list. Exactly. There you go, Karen. Problem solved. I'm telling you, I promise you, because I just went through it for the last 10 days. They'll sell. Go through. It takes a little more time than throwing a postcard on a scanner, sure, but it still doesn't take that much time. The replacement cases are gold, and I don't use them on every one. Then that's just foolish. Like most of my CDs are decent shape. You know, they're not terrible, but you can see, like when you take a picture, you can see a scratch, especially if you do a scan. I've been using my scanner on some of them, but like all the discs are in really good shape. You know, they clean up super. Another super easy trick is microfiber cloth. That's all you need. If you get some fingerprints and stuff, which also are kind of inevitable on CD, just get a microfiber cloth. Don't use cleaners or anything because you can very easily get rid of the ink. I learned that the hard way. I think it was like Windex or something early on. I went like this and it wiped all the ink off. I was like, oh. But yes, exactly, Karen. Easy to list, easy to ship, easy to store, and best of all for me anyway, pretty quick. Pretty quick sellers. Popeye is looking to unload his that poor guy's been looking to unload his dental books for some time. We had a whole conversation about that actually. 6x6x2 boxes. Okay, cost you more, but between Discogs and eBay, you find you retain more customers. That's cool. Absolutely, man. I double poly them for what that's worth. And then before I use all eBay stuff, I double poly them. So like what's the format? 5 inches or so, 5x5, something like that. CD. That's funny. I never measured that before. Let's get the old ruler. 5.5 by 5. All right. I have these little bags from eBay, so I'll put just to show you the shipping process, and I haven't had any issues yet. But I'll put a Mylar bag around it just to protect it from water and stuff. I think that's a good thing to do with almost anything, especially records. It drives me nuts, and I buy records a lot. When people just throw a record in the record mailer with no bag on it or anything, it's cardboard and paper, and if the thing gets wet, the record's going to get wet, the cover's going to be ruined. Well, anyway, I protect that, even though it's just a plastic case. And then I put one bubble mailer around it, and I make a taunt like right up against it, so it's only 5 inches tall, and I'll tape it, and then I put that into another regular size mailer, and I mail it that way, and I haven't had any issues. However, I agree with you totally, and I'm a big fan of shipping properly and making people happy with the shipments, because just think of yourself, it's another cliche, but put yourself in the buyer's shoes. If you're buying something, would you want it cracked and all that? No. And would you want to see that somebody just threw a record in a thing and threw it in the mail with no bubble wrap, with no plastic around it, and you have a big water stain on the cover of this little piece of cardboard that you've been you've been looking for years? You're driving. Yeah, no problem, man. You've done 10,000 this year, but slacked last month. Only did about half of your goal. Burnout. There's something to be said for that too. And there is like a catharsis, not cathartic. It's a good experience to just get into something when you've been focused on one thing or two things for a while. It's fun, in quotes, to do. Like the CDs for me is my most recent example. It's just something different. It's a little fresher. And again, it's an addition to, it's not a substitute for, in my case anyway. If somebody wants to switch gears, go ahead. I'm not switching gears. I'm just adding to my existing workflow on a daily basis. I'm going to incorporate CDs, more records, which I've already been listing, but I'm going to do more of them. Even cassettes. Like I said, I have a bunch of cassettes that I also picked up in a estate sale. Mrs. Flip had picked them up a couple of years ago in really nice cases, just an assorted, box of cassettes, like most of us all had. And I was trying to get rid of them. So I had like $50 on the whole thing with the case. They've been up forever and nobody bought them. So I'm like, you know what? I'm taking them out. I'll put them up for $5 a piece. And I sold like 2 cassettes. That's pretty cool. I might sell the cases by themselves and get some money. What's up, Popeye? How you doing? Just jumped in now and saw my name on the screen. Yes, who wants some dental books? I said this poor guy's been trying to get rid of these things for donkey's years. Welcome to the show, Popeye. What's for dinner, man? It's Friday night. Did I show, if anybody saw my my community page a couple of days ago? I don't know, but half the people probably had no idea why I did this, but we found the baked beans that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. Bush's baked beans. We found these huge cans like this big. I'm actually going to fire up a can of baked beans after the show and celebrate. But again, Popeye, maker of some of the best baked beans you will ever eat. Need to play test everyone. Absolutely. And we have a cassette player. I agree, because the tapes are very brittle as well, and they can get dry. The heads can get dry. But good advice, absolutely, Grant. That goes for everything. Everything I sell. I have my main record player that I use for 45s and regular LPs, and I have one of those cheap, like $100 box. The heck is it called? The cases that has a 78 speed on it. So I always play the 78s I sell too. Just not the whole record, but I'll skip through. They're always going to have that ambiance about them. They're going to sound like they're 80 years old because they're 80 years old. But I like to just make sure that they don't have any major cracks or cracks in the sound. That is, or anything. Pizza will be in here in a few. Beautiful, man. Enjoy. That's okay. I appreciate you stopping in anyway. Enjoy the pizza. I had a really good pie. My show, we played the heck were we? Town called Secaucus, New Jersey last week. Phenomenal pizza. Before the show, phenomenal pizza. Kind of pizza that makes you wonder why every pizza isn't just like that. Those big cans of what you use, 6 of them. Oh, really? Is that what you use? And then you put in your own mystical ingredients to them? They are so good, man. Really, Popeye's postcards. Popeye's baked beans. That should be a business too. So good. I've had what looks like brand new cassettes that have had issues, so I play test every one. I think that's a very good thing to do. Absolutely, me too. Goes without saying. And I also have a record cleaning machine, so what I do is I don't do that until they sell, because that would, I'm going to waste hours and hours cleaning dozens of records. But I also put them in a brand new poly anti-static sleeve. Even if it has an inner, I'll put them in that too. So I always go, I'm big on that, because I really, especially with things I love like music and records and CDs, I want the person to be wowed. I want the buyer to be wowed and say, wow, they took the time to put an anti-static. Wow. And I have verbiage in my listing and it's true, all records are professionally cleaned prior to shipment to, eliminate fingerprints and dust. It's not going to take a scratch out, certainly, but it's going to get rid of the basic stuff. And if you do source your records at estate sales or other places, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be in different states of wear, to put it politely. Some of them could be downright nasty, the records, but they usually clean up really nicely. And I know from my perspective as a buyer of and consumer of records, if I'm buying used records, I'm not expecting it to glisten in the sun and be perfect. But, at the same time, I don't want like fingerprints all over it and an inch of dust on it and mildew. So I try to go that extra yard to make sure when a record sells, before I ship it, the way I just described, which I will do a video on because I was asked to. Maria asked for that. I will do that, Maria. I'll put it together and make sure it's clean, new anti-static sleeve. The little touches, I think they go a long way. Put yourself in the buyer's shoes. Yep, play test everything. Yep, I have a regular little boombox thing that I put the cassette in quick. I just fast forward, make sure it's not when you hit fast forward or rewind, make sure it doesn't crack. Like the tape itself can get brittle. The actual magnetic tape can dry over time if it hasn't been played in a long time, if it hasn't been stored properly. The little cotton heads that are on there, they're very, very, I'm sure anybody who remembers, playing cassettes for years and years, man, if those things, God forbid, the tape actually gets, screwed up in the player. There's so many things that could go wrong. Many people have multiple streams of income. What do you think the average number is? The average number of income or the number of streams? Number of streams. I guess it depends on what you sell. There are many different outlets. Etsy, for me, Discogs with records. For some others that mentioned Discogs is a great source for records and CDs too, and cassettes too, and 78s too, and even tape, even reel-to-reel tapes you could sell. Etsy. Some of the newer ones, which I really don't know much about, so I'm not going to speak to them. But the what are they called? I don't remember what it's called. Macari, all those things. But there's a lot of different. It depends on what you sell. Etsy is really good, obviously, for crafty things, for older things. I think they have it, their little bylaw. It's supposed to be vintage without exception. Like almost anything you sell is supposed to be handmade or vintage. There's lots of outlets. I mean, I do have a very small Etsy store. I have some listings on Discogs. It's really up to what you sell. Postcards, of course, there's several sites. HIP, Del Camp, which Popeye turned a lot of people on out in Europe. So I guess it depends. I would imagine a lot of people, diversify and try to sell on multiple platforms. You've been dehortifying your office. Very good. Throw out a huge garbage bag of crap, old iPhone boxes, cables, electronics we no longer have. Yeah, it is great point. Exactly. It does feel good, which is, again, one of my philosophies about this change I'm doing, or this addition I'm doing, is it's going to feel good to get rid of boxes of stuff. A bin, in our case, bins. We have nice plastic bins. The stuff's in like prime shape, many of which has never been opened. Many of the things have not been opened. So I'm expecting good stuff. What's up, Davis? How you doing? Very true. We did an office clean out a year and a half ago for a company my wife used to work with, and they closed with the COVID thing. They just all went remote, and the guy didn't. He's actually a friend of ours. I'm his IT guy for years for the office. And now that the office doesn't exist anymore because he was paying a fortune for no reason when everybody was remoting in. Anyway, yeah, he got rid of tons and tons of computer equipment, and I had he's like, take whatever you want. So I sold. Davis is right. Cables, all that stuff, especially when they're in good shape. Some of them, in the case of the office clean out, I had them in plastic bags sometimes, RCA jacks and all that stuff. So you can get rid of that stuff if you're interested in it. What's up, Mark? How you doing? Happy Friday to you, man. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, you just, at a certain point, I understand that. You just want to get rid of it. Surprisingly, some classic musical. I'm not surprised at all, Grant, because I know CDs do well, classical CDs do well. So it would definitely make sense that it would roll over into other forms of musical media. What's up, Lori? How you doing? Happy Friday to you. Thank you for coming in. Pizza and wife are here. Gonna say out of pizza. Enjoy, man. Mange. Enjoy your pizza. And thank you very much for coming in for a few minutes. I really appreciate it. Popeye's Postcards, ladies and gentlemen. On Whatnot, occasionally on YouTube, and of course on eBay. Guru, great to have him as always. You have about 600 of them in my basement that you haven't got to listen to them. I apologize, guys. The reason I'm having so much trouble, can you see this wire for the GoPro? This wire is like hanging right in front of the screen. I didn't want to bother you folks with this stuff, but I have to look under my wire to read the comment underneath it. So anyway, Grant has 600 cassettes, classical cassettes. Is that what you're talking about in your basement? Yeah. I don't think you need to. I mean, when it comes to cassettes, any of the stuff, I don't sit and listen to the entire, with exception. If it's a very, very high priced item, maybe you spend, the 20 minutes it takes to listen to a side of music. But, I just basically skip through when it comes to records, 78, same thing. I just kind of skip through. Get a general sense. I'm pretty good at grading. I've had success with my grading. I've never had anybody come back and say, you said it was VG plus. I'd say it's a good, it's very subjective. People could be, you ask 10 people what a VG plus is, they're going to have 10 different answers. So my general advice, maybe Grant agrees or anybody else that sells music, be conservative in your grading, undergrade if you need to. Don't be a jerk and say, oh, everything's excellent. And you're asking for trouble. You'd rather exceed expectations with people. Wow, you only said it was VG. This thing is closer to excellent. Thanks a lot. And you'll get a nice feedback, and potentially they'll come back and buy more product from you. And the world goes round and round. Jiminy, thanks for your content. Do you have any suggestions where I can learn more about vintage ads if you want to get into some? Hey, Keto, how you doing? Well, I have a great suggestion. Have you seen the content for the Jiminy Flip It channel? I have a whole playlist of, I don't even know how many, God. Well, I have the series I think is 8 videos, but then I have 100 maybe live lists. By the way, this is video number 199 on my channel. So if I do another one, it'll be number 200, a little milestone there. But anyway, Keto, thanks again for joining. Yeah, check out if you haven't seen I have a whole series about them. And then I have a bunch of, live listing shows where I'm listing print ads. And with the people that are watching the show, we all kind of talk about the different topics surrounding print ads. So I love my print ads, And if you watched the video I released this morning and listened to the majority of this first hour of my live show, I've been talking about just but listing some other stuff that I already have that could be turned around quickly for cash while continuing to list print ads, while continuing to list postcards, so that I can get those 2 products volumes way, 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 way up in my store listed. I have the product already. It's a matter of getting them onto eBay, because it's going to take some time. Just by virtue of doing these processes, it's going to take some time. Get them listed so that I can reap the rewards of having volume. Your Kellys, your Popeyes, Mark, certainly, Connie, so many great people that come into the show all the time and have for a while. Big postcard people, they have lots of volume, volume can get you out of a lot of trouble too. So when you have these little summer slowdowns and all these, any other way you want to say this stuff, the volume can help you escape a lot of the trappings that people like me and many of us potentially don't have that volume. We fall into that hole. We fall hard. So I'm just trying to supplement that deep hole fall, put a little net under there for myself, build myself a bridge with CDs, cassettes, records, Disney stuff. That's the main things that I have lots of. 78s. But thanks for coming in, Keto. I really appreciate it. Hi, Miss Elizabeth. How are you? Good evening to you. Thank you very much for coming in. Best to undergrade. Absolutely, man. Exceed expectations when they get it, right? And they'll come back. The thing about, and I'm sure Grant would agree with this, Discogs versus eBay as far as the buyer mentality or the pool of buyers anyway. I don't mean to speak in generalities, but sometimes it's just right. You're generally speaking, people that buy stuff on eBay, records and things of the like, are more general. They're more just a fan of whatever and they want a record. They're not going to be quite as picky, let's say, as your Discog buyer or your Discog, because Discogs are kind of not Discogs. People in Discogs, just because they're in Discogs means they're probably at a pretty high level as far as high level. They love what they love. They collect a lot of what they love. They consider themselves audiophiles. They consider themselves experts. There's just a higher, self-described higher mentality amongst the buyer groups of people that go into Discogs. Generally speaking, not everybody. On eBay, you might have the world's number one authority on Beatle records only goes to eBay. That's possible too. But generally, to Grant's point, I like to undergrade slightly. I'm not saying way under. Don't say it's good and it's excellent, but go down a notch especially if you're on the bubble. If you know you have a mint condition thing, list it as mint. But prepare to hear the wrath if your buyer doesn't agree with your assessment. That's all. So if you're a little conservative and go down just a little bit, even if you know it's excellent, just say VG plus. Doesn't hurt anybody, You will. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely, Kiddo. Well, that's a great question. How long tail? When you're saying, if you're talking about print ads, again, it's volume. Volume rules the day. If I had, which I have, and Kelly's probably going to get sick from me here saying this again, but if I have 50,000 print ads, which I do easily, and I had 50,000 print ads listed on eBay, even if they're long tail, what I talked about earlier about volume getting you out of some trouble, just by the fact that I had 50,000 ads listed, I could probably sell, I don't know, 20 a day, maybe more, probably. I'm not saying guaranteed. I'm just making up a number. I don't know the exact number, but you know what I mean? The volume will get you out of sticky situations. Where it stands now, even though I have 50,000 sitting around me, I only have 2,500, give or take, listed. No, I sell them. It's not a static number. It goes up and down. So about 2,500, give or take, now listed, and about 2,500 postcards already listed. So the long way around your question is, if you only have 10 print ads, let's just say, for argument's sake, listed, probably going to take you a while to sell those 10 print ads. It'll probably take you a very long while. But then I say that and you never know, because sometimes I've sold, when we do the live listing shows of print ads, I've had people buy a print ad that I just listed. So there's really no rhyme or reason to it. But generally, they're going to take a while to sell. Got to find, I hate this term, but it's true. The right buyer has to be on. It's true. If somebody's hell-bent on picking up a Pillsbury Doughboy print ad, and they collect all things Pillsbury Doughboy, and more importantly, a lot of people that collect, they have searches saved within eBay. So if I pop, no pun intended, if I pop in with a Pillsbury print ad from 1956 or whatever, and that person has something, queued up in their system where they want to be notified every time. Like I do that for records. They want to be notified whenever somebody lists anything with a Pillsbury Doughboy on it. Then odds are at that moment, hey, my thing might sell in seconds, But if conversely, if you're listing a dime a dozen product that people don't collect, I hate to say that because people collect everything. The more you do this, you realize people collect everything and anything. But I'm trying to think of something really basic. Campbell soup. I have millions of Campbell soup, figuratively speaking, up on eBay, and have millions more sitting in here. And although there is, for some reason, there are people that love Campbell soup eggs, they are a dime a dozen. So there's so many of them that odds are if I listed a Campbell soup ad tonight, it's not going to sell tonight. Might not sell for a year easily. But if you have volume, it doesn't matter if you listed it now or a year ago. You don't care. It's just, I'm going to sell 20 of these every day, irregardless of when I listed it. That's the point I want to be in when it comes to print ads and postcards, where I'm sure of course, we all want to be there, but you know what I mean? That's the point I expect to be, is what I want to say. I expect to like Kelly said earlier, about 5,000, whatever, you can get, a handful a day, whatever. 20,000, you get 20 a day or 10 a day. That's fine. But I need to get to that point. And when I do, with those two specific things that I have lots of volume, which is postcards and print ads, I'll be sitting pretty. If I sell 20, 40 of them a day, that's fantastic. Print ads sell for a lot. Generally speaking, my print ads sell for way more, triple what the postcards sell for, item for item, usually. So that's one of the things I love about them. Again, there's exceptions. You could have a postcard that's worth $100. You could have, a print ad that nobody will take off your hands for more than 10. But generally, print ads are about 3 times my usual sale price of my usual postcard price. And that's okay. Because again, it comes down to volume. If I had 50,000 postcards listed and I sold 20 a day and 10 of them were only $6 and 5 of them were 25 plus and 5 others were somewhere in between, you'd be making money. Your issue is finding ads here in your area isn't easy. Do a lot of estates and cars. Do a lot of estate and garage and rarely find magazines. Really, see, I think it depends on what your area is. In my area, that's one of the main places I find magazines, actually, or estate sales. And that's in one of my videos. I have actually, I think, is it video number 1 or 2? I don't remember. When you check out the series, Keto M, it's all about sourcing. So hopefully it'll give you some ideas. Facebook Marketplace is a good place to get rid of. You got the Popeyes of the world saying, he's stepping over cables and wires, and to somebody else that's gold, and he just wants it out, he throws it out. You're going to find that all the time with magazines. There's people that are like knee deep in old magazines that have been sitting in their basement or their mother's basement for 100 years, and it's just a nuisance, and they don't want anything to do with them. Kind of how we got the biggest lot of magazines we ever got was 650 Life magazines a few years ago. It was that scenario. The guy he was a collector of baseball cards or sport cards in general, and somebody threw in this huge collection of Life magazines that he wanted no part of. To him, it was just an obstacle. Like, it's in the way. It's taking up space where I could be filling up with stuff I like the sports cards. So we got them for a song because he didn't know what he had. He didn't care. Didn't want to work them. Popeye doesn't care about cables, computer cables. Somebody else is thinking, oh my God, you're throwing out, money right there. He doesn't care. You're going to find that across the board. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think volume does trump all. Volume gets you out of every tough situation. There's a butt for every seat. Correct, Jim. Yeah, people collect everything. It's sick how anything, the stupidest thing that you think would have no interest to anybody, somebody collects them. Yes, the sinking feeling. I got to move this wire again. I'm sorry, Grant. Yes, the sinking feeling you have in your gut when you list something and it sells within the hour. Oh no, you probably, yeah, that's the first thought, but it's not always that case. Again, it's more likely, hopefully, if you have a decent level of expertise in whatever you're trying to sell, or you have a general sense of what the market will bear for a certain product, right? Sometimes it is just that white, I hate, again, that expression, but sometimes it is just that right person at the right time, and it's true. It can happen. I love that feature. If you don't know, you can do that on eBay. You can certainly do that for yourself too. You could put in you could build like a macro almost that just notify me every time anybody lists this product, X product. There's a bunch of people that collect stuff that they'll do that for, and it's a smart thing to do. So as soon as I get emails all the time. 1,000 new records have been listed in whatever category I've set up. And I get an email and I jump in there, and then I'm one of the first to see these new items. It's a smart thing to do. And I know a lot of people, because I know people that have bought ads from me in the past, especially multiples. That's a great scenario too. When you have people that buy something and are, for my case, it's Budweiser. There's a guy that collects Budweiser for me. He works for some sort of a company that's, I don't know if it's a museum or something like that, affiliated with Anheuser-Busch. So basically every time I put a Budweiser product up, if he doesn't have it already, he's buying it from me. And he also asked me to proactively send him an email, which you have to ask permission for. I wouldn't recommend just doing that in eBay, but I had it in writing on eBay. Hey man, would you like to be notified every time I have an Anheuser-Busch? Absolutely, please. I insist you do. That's awesome. That's almost like a guaranteed sale. So I'll go through, if we're going through magazines to list, I'll just keep an eye out for any Budweiser. Usually it's Budweiser, but Anheuser-Busch products in general. I'll always kind of rip them out, put them on the side. That's for my boy. And the thing is, he's such an avid collector, and because of the museum element, they have a lot of the ones I already have, but there's a handful that he hasn't had, and he's always very thankful. He's like, we've been looking for this for so long. Thank you very much. Very cool. Thank you, Jiminy. Yeah, you're in Miami, I guess. Very cool. You found 10 Life magazines for $2. Yeah, that's awesome. And you could get, again, not guaranteed, but 10 magazines is at least 200 ads. And 200 ads, if you sell them even for just $10 a piece, 2,000 for your $2 investment. That's one of the great laws about this stuff, is the incredible return on investment. One of the main things I love about ephemera. First time. It took me a while to find print ads magazines. You have to pay up to $15 for a Life magazine, but a local dealer started selling mags for $3 each. You bought over 100. Yeah, I know, you were telling us about that. That's awesome. Much better price. Again, 15 theoretically, even though it sounds expensive, it's not. You sell one ad, you paid for your magazine, right? What's up? Jackie Jack is here. Todd is here. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you for coming in. It takes time, just like with postcards. You're in the process of buying on a collection of 25,000 print ads. He only had a few listed, and he told me he has 15,000 more, just 6,000. Yep. And you'll see, if you haven't seen already, Kelly, they sell for more than postcards, generally speaking. At least mine do. So it's a nice thing to get into. There is a quasi-parallel with the postcard things. Great to see you, man. Thanks for coming in. Happy Friday. It's going to take me 1 to 2 years before you have enough volume up to see consistent sales. Potentially, like me with postcards. But the fact that you have the product, that's where I'm very happy with things, is that because of the postcard thing I picked up in March, 40,000 some odd postcards, plus whatever a couple thousand I had, let's say 45,000 postcards. And again, that people dwarf that quantity. Many sellers have way more than that. But for me, that's pretty. I'd be very excited if I had 45,000 postcard listings up. I'd be very happy. And at least I have the option to now, because I have the product. Same thing with the print ads. I have probably 3 times that amount of print ads because I have hundreds and hundreds of magazines, each of which has 20 to 50 ads per. There's a lot of meat on those bones, as I say. So I just got to get it up. And Kel's right. That's really the summary of my entire topic tonight and my video today was the time element. It's going to take time. Like, no matter how hard I work, and even if I can, theoretically, if I get 100 postcards up every single day, it's going to do great things. I'm going to sell more of them because I'm constantly feeding the machine and all. But it's still, I'm lucky if I sell 2 or 3 a day. I mean, that's cool, but $15, $16, it's not going to get me anywhere financially. So until that, or in addition to doing that, to get to the point like Kelly wants to be at 25,000 ads or whatever, I just want to supplement with other products. That's really the summary. Because exactly as Kelly says, it's going to take some time to get them up. That's all. It just physically takes time to get quantity like that listed, especially if you're a one-man operation. If you have employees and all that stuff, like if I had, if I could afford to, or if I had the ability to get, 5 people to just constantly show them a process and just, churn out postcards for me, maybe, I'd get there a lot quicker. But it's just me when it comes to that stuff. Mrs. Lippett helps out with some elements of it, but it's me listing and processing all this stuff. What's up, Cameron? Even Cameron. What was the comment earlier? Kelly said something. Even Cameron. Oh, even Cameron is selling hard goods now. What's up, Cameron? Great to have you, man. Even Cameron. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday, everybody. Popeye's enjoying his pizza. I wish I had pizza tonight. But alas, I don't. I don't think I need it either right now. Cameron, are you doing a show tonight by any chance? Because I know it's still afternoon by you guys. If you are, let them know about it. Miss Elizabeth acquires 1890s coffee greetings trading cards. Very cool. How important is condition? I think vital, but they have some stains, creases, and more spots. I think it's a huge component of pricing in general and value in general. But like anything else, you'd be surprised. People collect everything. And as long as you're transparent about the condition issues, don't sell it as mint or whatever. Don't be silly. People get foolish with some of that stuff. But if you're honest and say, what you just said, this one has a stain, this one has a crease, as seen in the image or something is another thing I like to put out there. Good or bad, I'll always put like, with the CD stuff, case is mint, as seen in image, something like that. Or, ad has tear in upper right-hand corner. Be specific about it. Be transparent. And you can't get burnt. And you're protected from a return perspective. If somebody says it's an item not as described, you didn't tell me there was a ripple. Yeah, I did. It's in the description. Because unfortunately it comes down to stuff like that once in a while. The other thing I love about ephemera is you don't get returns. How many returns have you guys had with postcards? And I've had 1 postcard return in my life. No postcards. I've had 1 print ad returned of all the ones I've sold, which I've alluded to. So maybe 2 months ago it happened, and I brought it up because I thought it was funny. A lady bought a print ad. She goes, "I love the print ad. My husband doesn't. He told me to return it." I literally chuckled, laughed out loud, as they say. I did. I laughed. I said, "Really? We know who wears the pants there, honey, don't we?" Anyway, he didn't like it, so away it had to go. But you get no returns with this stuff. You've always sold hard goods. Cool. Was going to give it up. Yeah, I'm just, if you're just joining us, Cameron, and if you didn't see the video this morning, basically I'm going back to supplementing my already growing ephemera, inventory supplementing with some CDs is what I pointed out today, because they've been doing really well, and they flip within a day or two of listing. Usually most of them I've sold really quickly. CDs, records, things I have tons of already behind the green curtain, rather than going out and just buying stuff, which kind of defeats the purpose if I'm trying to get more income. I have tons of stuff I can list. So I'm not one of those people that has this compulsion to keep buying things and stuff, luckily or illuckily or unluckily, I don't know. But I don't care. I don't need to go out and get more stuff when I'm sitting on top of so much really good stuff too. Mostly, especially the Disney stuff that's wrapped still, that I know I can make a lot more money on and will sell pretty quickly. That's all. And I don't need print ads. And a couple of people have tried to solicit, hey, I know you love print ads. You want 1,000 print ads? And like a hole in the head. No, I do not want more print ads. I want to sell 1,000 print ads. The view from here, what is up? You're rethinking everything about eBay too. You've stopped sourcing hard goods way too hard in store and ship, which is exactly, and I'm going in reverse sort of, but I'm not going in reverse. I'm just adding to what I'm already doing. I'm adding to my existing philosophy about ephemera and paper items. Huh? She has to make icing. This flip it's going up. She has to make icing. So I'm not stopping either one of them. I'm actually taking on more. I'm trying to get rid of some of the hard stuff. But I agree. I mean, a lot of people are in that situation where they don't want to get involved. It's just so much slower, generally speaking, again, depending on what it is. It's a list to take pictures of. You have to take more pictures. You have to be more descriptive often, especially with, dare I say the word clothing, but especially with clothing, shoes, all that kind of stuff. Your return rate is, way, way higher than it is, at least with mine. It's non-existent with me. I get no returns. And I'm not even worried about knocking on wood on that. I get no returns with paper ever. No show, says Cameron. He's going camping. Have a good time, man. Camping in Oregon. That's the way to be, Miss Elizabeth. Always disclose issues. Full disclosure. And again, it's a good service practice in general, of course, anyway. But as discussed multiple times, nobody reads. That's what's sinful. So you'll get some idiot who'll still say, she didn't say it had a rep. Because they didn't read. People are lazy and don't read on these listings. It's not even laziness anymore. With the advent of the mobile thing, it's true. Like if you look at a listing, I never do, but if you look at a listing on a iPad or on a phone or whatever, it's so much less. There's so much less real estate just by virtue of the product. And the mobile apps, they don't give you a lot. You get a title, which is truncated. You get a picture, really. You get a picture and a price, And very few people, either they don't want to or they don't know how to read the rest of all this. It's ironic, right? They want you to put all these specifics in, these item specifics. And to get to those specifics, you have to go through hoops on the mobile platform. It's kind of silly. You would think that would be right up front, but it's not. And then there's people I think with most things, you see a nice picture, you see a title. Star Wars, whatever toy, 1970, Hasbro, 1977, wing fighter, whatever the heck they're called, right? You see the picture? Oh man, I had that one in 1977. I want that. It's only $50. Sold. They're not going to read the 20 lines of descriptive text below that they probably can't find even if they wanted to, unless they're on a computer. Second sale, Bayview. Oh, get out of here. $18. Congratulations, Jim. I sell Jersey Shore Towns, they're called, all the time. Jersey Shore Town postcards do well. Even the dreaded Chrome cards sell for me. I like to point those out once in a while because Chrome cards get a knock of not being very valuable, and with good reason, because most of them aren't. But when I get $10 I do a jig. If I get $10 out of a Chrome card, I'm usually doing a jig. And Kelly says 2 or 3 postcards, and this is a guy who sells, thousands of them a year, right? Usually older folks who don't know what they're buying, right? And again, you just move on, and oh well, it's not a big deal. But yeah, with me, I luckily never had a postcard. I haven't sold that many yet, but the print ads, which I have sold lots of, I've never had a print ad returned, save for that one I just mentioned, which was kind of a joke. But certainly never for condition issues or, not being descriptive or any of that kind of stuff, or shipping the wrong one. That used to be a fear of mine when I first started doing them. And like anything, when you have a lot of volume of something, it's crucial. Which again, watch the video about how I do my inventory. But it's crucial to get some sort of inventory process in place that is scalable, when you get more and more stuff, and something, no worse feeling in the world when something sells, you're all excited, especially if it's good money, then you can't find the thing. And I worried about that initially when we got into the postcard thing, like, oh my God. Oh, not postcard. Postcard, I had a good system thanks to Popeye. But print ads, I had to kind of make my own little system, and we have a couple of file cabinets. Again, check out the video, you could see it, but I can fit I think I fit over 100 magazines in each drawer. And we have 1, 2, 3. We have 12 drawers. So I'll do the math there. It's a lot of magazines, a lot of ads. And if the time comes where I've got them all listed, which would be a very good thing, I could always buy another file cabinet and keep the same system going. Yeah, man, that's so outrageously cool. Is anybody doing any sourcing this weekend? Any big events coming up? Any postcard shows? Any paper shows? Any record shows? We're doing a family thing tomorrow. A couple little girls graduating, a high school graduation and an 8th grade graduation, same day. So we're going to that party tomorrow, and then Sunday is my concert. It should be a lot of fun. Have I lost weight? Well, thank you very much. No, but I'm not heavy. I just, but I need to trim down. I need to get a little more svelte because concert season, just when you do concerts outside, which is what we're going to be doing till September, basically almost without fail, in 90-degree plus, even 80-degree plus heat. It's over 100 on stage. We wear outfits, we wear wigs. Man, you lose, and not to mention schlepping all this heavy equipment up before the show, setting it up, breaking it all down, which is the worst part of any show. Any musician will tell you the breakdown is awful, brutal. But I could probably lose 10 pounds a show. It would be water weight and sweat, but you lose a lot of weight just getting out there and being active and lifting and all that kind of stuff. But thanks for the kind words, Cameron. But no, I'm same weight for months now. Well, you just want to let you know you were very encouraging. Well, that's cool of you from here. Just started to start vintage ads, vintage aroma. Yes. And I've learned so much from videos. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Greatly, greatly appreciate that. That's always been a goal of mine. Oh, as the light dies, hold on. My initial thought with the print ad thing was to try to bring it more to the forefront. I don't think a lot of people knew about them. And I'm certainly not taking credit because, again, it wasn't my original idea. I saw videos years ago but again, they were like one-off, like one video, just somebody's, hey, did you know you can sell an ad? I'm like, oh, cool. What a great idea. And I just, in the last year or whatever that I've been doing, a year and a half now that I've been doing this, I just wanted to bring it to the forefront to more people, to maybe expose them to something they weren't aware of. And if I've helped that and encouraged you, I'm very, very happy. Mission accomplished. Thank you for watching. I'm going to definitely do a video per request about the record shipping thing. Why not? It's a good idea. Maybe we'll do a CD shipping. We'll do a record shipping. We'll do a 78 shipping, which would be an involved video because it's just takes a lot more. You have to take a lot more care when shipping 78 records. Cassettes are the same thing. Throw them in a poly mailer. But I would always double because, or just wrap some regular bubble wrap around it prior. I don't think, I forgot who mentioned it earlier, but they're right about, the disappointment when a buyer gets a CD, let's say, or even a cassette. It's kind of the same thing, a plastic case. You don't want to get a thing cracked, So just, it weighs next to nothing. They ship media mail anyway. You're never going to be close to a pound with one CD or one disc, cassette. So don't be cheap. You know what I mean? Wrap it around. Either double bag it, what I do, or use, a sheet of regular bubble wrap that you probably use for 100 other items anyway. And make sure it gets there safely. Very true, Todd. I love this stuff. Many people have already heard this from me, but the World War II stuff for me, that's my sweet spot when it comes to print ads. I just love those ads, and that material. Even beyond the ads, I love the magazines themselves. When I'm carving out these magazines, and doing the autopsies on them and getting all these ads out, you're left with beautiful articles and stuff and just intriguing stuff, which is all, it's a snapshot. It's a snapshot into whatever week that issue was from and what was going on. And of course, they had no sense of what was to come. It's really cool to read about that stuff. And you can get lost in that without question. One of the things I love about postcards that first attracted me was that parallel sort of with the print ad stuff, where they were, again, little snapshots of history, be it just a library in wherever, Maine, or, a supermarket in the Midwest that you never heard of or something. And it's just really cool stuff. The cars, the way people address the World's Fair stuff, which I did list a bunch of. Love that stuff, because they're in New York, which is where I'm from, and you get to see images and stuff that you haven't seen potentially, or maybe bring back memories to people that attended, especially the 64 fair. Really good stuff. Do you suggest starting out with Life magazines? Anything you can get your hands on, Keto. I have Life because that was the big haul that I picked up, happened to be Life. they're also very common. Like you're gonna find Life magazines. I know you're saying in Miami maybe they're not as common in estate sales and things, but check out the video. Facebook Marketplace. Go on Facebook Marketplace. Believe it or not, Craigslist. I mean, people are trying to give away magazines in many cases, unless you know what you know. But the majority of people that just have, especially the estate sales for us, the ones that we go around here, magazines are almost always an afterthought. They're the kind of things that people, I've used this analogy, but it's true, they step over to run and grab. In my area, for some reason, people are fanatical about, car parts or like tools and things like that. There's often like a shed or a garage area in most of these houses where the estate sales are, and there's a huge influx of people that run over there. Also, like jewelry, which is usually out in the living room, jewelry and tchotchkes, as I say, and costume jewelry and silverware and plates and all that stuff. You always see people run to certain areas, what they, of course, are attracted to or what they're trying to sell. For me, it's records, paper in general. Mrs. Flippett has a great nose for that kind of stuff. She'll dig deep. She'll dive under desks and stuff and find little, handbooks for old products and things like that, which also sell. That's more just general ephemera. But yeah, magazines are like, people step on them. They walk over them. They don't even know they're there. I will tell you, if you haven't had any luck yet at estate sales, just a thought is open every dresser drawer, open every, if there's like a trunk downstairs, they're usually in the basement, a trunk in a basement. Sometimes you'd be amazed what you can find in there. Oh, some magazines. Definitely be mindful of condition when it comes to magazines. But again, with print ads, the nice thing is you're not really that concerned with the cover or the back cover, right? You're concerned about the contents within the magazine. Not so where again, most people might not think that. They're like, oh, here's a nice Life magazine. Oh man, it's all stained. I'll put that back. I'll take it as long as the stain doesn't continue through for 10 pages. As long as it's just a superficial thing, or if there's which is going to happen over time anyway, right? A scuff or something on the magazine or whatever, dirt, mildew, dare I say, as long as it doesn't penetrate the body of the magazine and the ads within are in good shape, pick up that magazine. Use gloves though. Use gloves. You wrap your CDs, cassettes in cardboard, tape it, tag it, bag it. Beautiful, man. Whatever you got to do, get it there safely. Awesome. Thanks. You're going to check out the videos for tonight. But yeah, cool. Have fun. And please, if you have any questions at any time, contact me. But a comment on any of the videos at any time. I'm always on, so I'll answer quickly, I promise. So if you have any questions on any one of those video series, just leave a comment for me and I'll check it out. Leland was a history, not already, so enjoy the old stuff. It also helps dating many items of various. Oh, that's very true too. Yeah, that's very true. You could find out information on one product and then parlay it into another one because you learned about the dating and stuff on that first one. That's a very good point. Oh, there she is. What's up, Dawn? Dawn has risen. Thank you for coming in, Dawn. As always, Queen of Canada has arrived just in time too. Good quality flatware, like owning it. Yep. People love the flatware, absolutely. And that's an estate sales staple. How is that for a tongue twister? An estate sales staple. Without question, people that go to estate sales, at least again in my experience in my area, always gravitate towards like pottery and silverware and plates and dishware, I guess it's called, right? Yeah. And again, in my area, usually jewelry, they'll have all that stuff kind of prominently displayed too. Everything and anything. Clothes, of course, which always gives me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies. Most of the time, as we know, estate sales are people that passed away. And it's always kind of weird to me. Ms. Flippin and I have had a moment many times where we're sitting in some old lady's, literally sitting in her bedroom. I know I've said this before, but it bears repeating for the new folks. You're sitting on somebody's bed that might have been in that bed a month ago or something before they passed, and you're going through their closet to try to sell a robe. I don't know. There's just something off-putting about that to me personally, but I feel much less. That's because I think, personal artifacts like that, like clothing, shoes, hats, whatever, that's a little more touching. Magazines sitting in a basement that have been sitting there since 1943. I don't care. I don't get all weepy about that stuff. If you do have antique malls, check out the dealer booths. I found old magazines. Absolutely, yeah. Antique booths, yep. And sometimes they're not displayed prominently, to say the least. They could be in a drawer, or they could be at the bottom of something else. They could have a pile of records with magazines on. Just when in doubt, ask, folks. Ask at antique malls without question, like Kelly says. Ask at estate sales. The ones that I go to, I have two dealers or whatever that do estate sales in my general area that I have like business cards from, and they give me a heads up. Again, it's not like I never go in early or anything. I wish that would be really cool, but that's what they do. They clear out all the stuff they want and then they sell the rest of the junk. But anyway, they'll give me heads up for certain things I really like. One guy knows I love records, knows I love magazines, or now I added postcards to that list. So he'll give me the old, hey man, phone call, Saturday in Media, which is a town by me. This house I'm in, they have a ton of records, make sure you get here early. Thanks, man. I mean, I love that. Or even more importantly, they'll say, don't bother because none of the stuff you like is here. They don't have any records. They don't have any. I'm like, I'll still go probably, but I love that heads up. So talk with people, ask questions, engage, network, all that kind of stuff. I love estate sales too, Cameron. So does my wife. Our primary source of sourcing. Miss Wright, good evening. Ahoy, ahoy. There she is. Sometimes the magazines are in a box under. Absolutely. Yep. Most people think that the magazines, that's my whole point. Almost without fail, any place you go, magazines are like bottom dwellers, bottom feeders. Most people don't care. And the ones but there are exceptions. There's also people, you'll see this all the time in antique malls where they'll frame in a cheap frame, a Coke ad, and they'll put it up on the wall and try to get you to buy that for like $15 a pop or something. You're not going to make any money doing that. I'm not discouraging anybody. If you happen to like it, it really does make a very nice framed piece of art. Some of those old ads, they make wonderful pieces of art for collectors and stuff. But in the antique mall environment, that's what I usually run into is people that just trying to sell one-offs like we do on eBay, and they'll throw like the cheap, dollar store frame in it to give it supposedly this extra touch and extra value. Or like Ellie says, much more often in my case anyway, he's right. They're like under something else, or, they're far from prominently displayed. They're almost hidden. So I just ask people. I do. I'll go to booth with him. It's usually older people, not always, but there's usually pretty older people in the antique malls by me in Pennsylvania. And they, first of all, they like the conversation. They love that you're interested in their thing. Spend a couple of minutes, build relationships with people. If you're really into something like that and you want to then you have multiple eyes looking for things for you. Under beds, under front, absolutely, Keto. Everywhere you got to look. Yep. State sale where the air is on hand. Oh my God, I know. Yeah, that's always a very uncomfortable situation. Sometimes they're sitting there right at the checkout desk, if you will, right? Like, oh my God. But that's the only time I really get, it happened, I think, twice where we looked at each other and really felt terrible. Now, I wasn't, and what's sad is we were sitting on a bed. I wasn't looking at the clothes. A lot of people were. We were like looking through records, I think it was. We just sat on the bed and I don't know, you turn around. It's still warm, if you will, not literally, but somebody lived there for 50 years or whatever. And my God, we're sitting in their living room. It also puts perspective on life in general, not to get too cosmic on everybody, but, you can't take it with you. Nothing really matters. All that stuff. It's very true. And, all these kingdoms we build, our little homes and stuff that we think of forever and everything, they're not. And it's all just stuff. So, but at the same time, it's just uncomfortable. I didn't like that. I didn't like sitting in somebody's bed, rummaging through her records. It just felt kind of weird. Dawn is getting her prompt greetings or her due greetings. Everybody bow, pay their respects. You can have your McLean magazines. What's up, Mars? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Great to have you.
They were open.
Yes, I had a handful. Is that all right?
Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, when your husband decides to open up your snack of honeycombs,
right
here, he not only doesn't shut the box.
How you doing, Mars? Welcome to the show.
He does not even shut the bag, and therefore
that would be an untruth.
Now I get to
stale honeycomb.
Stale.
They're extra crispy. They're extra crispy. You have about 300 of them, and you're thinking of dumping in the recycle bin next to no print ads in them. Oh, that's a sin.
I'm eating all your peanuts.
Go for it. Eat the peanuts.
All of them. All gone. Is Dawn on?
Dawn just arrived. Yeah.
Dawn.
Late to the ball.
Queen
of Canada. Sale. You're very welcome, Leland. Thank you very much for leaving that thumbs up. It's a Canadian magazine. Is that why? I was like, what's McLean magazine? I thought you meant McCall's and maybe it had misspelled it. We have lots of McCall's. Rummaging through people's drawers. Yeah, exactly. Literally, it's a strange feeling.
Hi, Jackie Jack.
I have a number of magazines that have been poorly stored over the years. Yes. Has any here tried pressing them? If comic pressing, I'm sure it would, Mars. If you're trying to sell magazines proper, I think that's a good approach. I again, being an ad guy, I don't know if I would need to. It depends on how badly they're bent or whatever, but I'm sure there's a workaround for that. Very few listings on eBay. You've sold a few on eBay just based on who graces the cover. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a serial. That's a Bush League move in the serial space. Congratulations, Karen.
What'd you say about my cereal?
Nothing. I was responding to one of my
What, my
esteemed
Dawn?
viewers. No, just left a thumbs up and sold a lot of cards for 95. Way to go, man. Congratulations, Cameron. It's not a fable. I know. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to throw my father on the bus and say he might have reached in for some honeycombs. He lies. He lies often.
He does not lie.
He doesn't remember what the truth is.
He can't even reach in there.
Claims is a Canadian news magazine like Time. Oh, okay. Very good. That's good to know, Morris. If I come across that now, I will know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, Gary. Congratulations. It all depends. I've sold a couple of McLean's with the Queen on them, but haven't tried others. Yeah, speaking of the Queen, I had I don't know how many we had, 10 from a dumpster dive many years ago. Miss Flippett used to fancy herself a dumpster diver. I probably mentioned this too. I mentioned a lot of things over and over. I apologize for that, but there's only so many stories you can tell. And when you're on every week, we used to go dumpster diving in a Barnes and Noble, not too far away, and pristine, the best dumpster. I would live in that dumpster. No, but you could eat off of it. It's like just magazines, perfect magazines, never touched, and they would just place them in this dumpster. And we used to grab magazines all the time, not for ads at the time, to just sell magazines that had expired. And we had a whole bunch of Newsweeks from her 2012, whatever, was that 50th or 60th anniversary, coronation, whatever it's called, not British. And I had a bunch of them, and I thought they would sell. We haven't sold a one. We've had them up for like 5 years. So what's up with that? Then when she died, I thought, here we go. Not one sold. That's an oh no. We say bolo. That's an anti-bolo or an oh no. What's up, Mark? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in, man. Maybe if I unlike and like it. Nope. Then the kibosh. Then you get a return. Never try to trick the algorithm, man. You will get burnt. Got to throw him under the bus once. Well, the poor guy. Took him for a haircut today. Dad, that was an adventure. Took him to a haircut and got his lotto tickets. 2 things he lives for. Lotto tickets and dinner. Yeah, exactly, Cameron. That's a very good point. Yeah. True. A Nolo? Okay, cool. I like the oh no. Same thing. Same principle. Welcome, Mark. But yeah, guys, here we are, 7:30, hour and a half into the show. If you haven't left a thumbs up, please consider doing so. I would appreciate it. And maybe you'll be like one of these many lucky folks this evening that have gotten sales by virtue of their thumbs up to my show. If you're in a rut, actually, I just sold a print ad. 1928. Who said about, how do you pronounce this? Oneida? Oneida? Oneida. Oh, my Candida. Remember the song Candida? Anybody? Tony Orlando and Dawn? I just sold this guy. Let's show it. Did we list this together on a listing show? You tell me. Probably did. Oneida. Just got this cha-ching. Ta-da! Oneida. That's pretty neat. 1922 Oneida Community Plate. We probably did list this because I think this is from the magazine that I had like 50-something ads from. But there you go. Little simple little black and white piece of paper. I threw a 25% sale on my print ads a couple of days ago, so it sold for $18.74 plus the $4.50 shipping for a piece of 100-year-old paper that is worth, it cost me about a penny. And herein lies the temptation and the great drive to keep getting things like this listed by the bushel, because you'll make insane profit on them. But now this one sold probably within a couple of weeks. I could look to see when it was listed. So this is like an outlier. This is a good situation where it sold relatively quickly, but I could also show you 100 ads that I've had up for 3 years that haven't sold yet. So Kind of luck of the draw. But anyway, that's pretty cool. So I got a sale too.
Don't stick up for me.
Yeah, but she's Canadian. Onita. The company start was a little weird. What's up, Greg? How you doing? Coles Phillips was the artist. Oh, really? Welcome to the show, Coles. Welcome to the show, Greg. I'm going to start selling toasters. Yep. I'm going to start going door to door with vacuum cleaners again. That's a fad that needs to be brought back. No, Mark, I'm just going to supplement with some hard goods that I happen to have already, like CDs, which I've been doing for a little over a week and have been selling within a couple of days of listing them. I like that. I want to get some more quick flips into the canon. That's all. While continuing to try to build a mass of postcards and print ads in the store. But instead of just waiting until I get to this mythical level, whatever it is, that allows you to get 20 sales a day or 40 sales a day, I figured I will, in addition to doing all the things I've been doing, I'm going to add to my own workload, which I've already started doing with the CDs, with the media I have, with the records, with the 78s, which I have tons and tons and tons of, the Disney stuff that we have already. So I'm not buying anything new yet, unless this all sells, which would be a good situation to be in. We're not buying anything. We're just going to sell what we got, because we got and we got and we got and we got more. That's all. Cameron with a blue heart, whatever that signifies. I'm sure it means something somewhere. I have no idea what that means. Miss Elizabeth says, Oneida community was an artist community? Okay. I know, that's kind of disrespectful. You know, she wants a curtsy for, well, she's often one to provide a curtsy. She wants the red carpet rolled out, but then she can't even say hi to her boy Cameron. Exactly. Wouldn't you like to know what the magical number is? I don't know what it is either, but you'll be the first to know when I hit it, when I smash through it. The Oneida community was a perfectionist religious communal society. So you're saying that just came off right off of your tongue? You didn't Google that portion of the sentence? I'm impressed with that, Todd. Very impressed. You know, communal society just sounds fancy, even though it's not. Those McLean should sell. Just takes the bet. Yeah, I haven't heard of that magazine. So I really do appreciate the heads up on that one. Yours is a board game, Trivial Pursuit 6. Boarded last day to state sale 50 cents and sold for $18.70. There you go. But what's your three components? Cost you 50 cents, sold for 18 and change, and only been listed for 2 weeks. So that's a great example of what I aspire to with these hard goods. Just get some stuff sold relatively quickly for decent money, and away we go. The juices are coming on us. Yeah. Again, vacuum sales. We're going to be sending my dog out with a vacuum attached to his back. No, I'm just kidding. Complete memory. Yes, that was clearly a rolled right off the tongue. Todd is obviously a linguist by profession. He just dabbles in this stuff. This isn't a roast dawn night. It's the roast the honeycomb killer. The honeycomb killer. Honeycomb.
See if I ever get you butchering
Honeycomb.
beans again.
Yeah, my baked beans are calling me right now. I'm starving.
Because your wife got them.
You did? And I did a whole post about how great you are that you bought them for me.
Well, don't leave me with stale honeycombs.
Just got feedback. Remember I talked earlier about the Kiss Alive double CD that I sold a couple days ago? Love the CD. Miss listening to Kiss music. That begun back some memories, which I guess means brought back some memories. But I just got that really nice feedback here. So that makes me feel good. So had it already. It was in my possession. It's my disc. Sold it for $12.99 plus $3 shipping. Sold it within 3 or 4 days of listing it. Shipped it in seconds, nanoseconds. And got a nice, pleasant feedback. And made somebody happy who misses Kiss. Kiss, in all seriousness, their records, their stuff sells great. The sell-through on Kiss records is very high. So if you have any Kiss stuff and you want to part with it, sell it. Big fan of the baked beans, Todd. I have a can, my name written all over it, upstairs waiting for me. As soon as I click out of the show, be firing up. You know, that's a delicacy on a Friday night. A can of baked beans. I've never been so fired up. Bush's baked beans. So good. So good. You read the history on Oneida too. Good story and how they became the largest U.S. Oh, yeah? I will have to look into that. You had a Baconator from Wendy's? Cool. Worthy research. Absolutely. Time well spent. Have you heard of a 94-cent stamp? Dinner's ready. Enjoy your dinner, Karen. Have a good night, weekend. Yeah, we'll do a listing show. Well, hold on. Hold the phone. Yeah, my concert is Sunday. Monday is, what's the date on Monday? 12th? I don't want to, I get into the habit of always saying, I'll see you on Monday and same Friday. Most times that is true. But again, we just started our peak concert season. Yeah, Monday's the 12th. I don't think I have anything Monday. So if I am free Monday, which I'm sure I will be, we will do listing. Absolutely, Karen. Like for example, on the 26th, I will not be on as I look at my calendar because we have a gig on Monday night, the 26th. And then we have a gig on Friday night, the 30th. So that week will be an off week for me as far as it won't be on my usual Monday or Friday. I'll do a show on, let's say, Wednesday, for argument's sake, something like that. I'm not going to just let a week go by if I can help it, right? I'll always try to do something. But that's if anybody really cares enough, that week, the 26th and 30th, which are the Monday and Friday, the end of June, I will not be available because I have a concert on both nights, which is a good thing for me. But we'll make up for it. Like I said, we'll do a Wednesday or Thursday or whatever.
You might have a surprise live stream.
Might have a surprise live stream from the show. No, unfortunately, we'll get pulled down by YouTube because we do Beatle covers.
No, on the 19th.
Oh, the 19th. No, not the 19th. 29th and whatever date I said. Yes. Yes, I am John Paul George. Oh, George. I'm John in the Beatle Band. Yeah, we wear I wear 3 different wigs. We wear 3 or 4 different outfits. It's involved. Glasses, all sort of stuff. You're welcome, Karen. Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate it. We're talking Canada again. You should post your concert schedule on the community scanner. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I could. I'll always try to give everybody a heads up. Just know that in June, July, August for sure, and most of September, we're playing a lot. We're playing like 10 shows a month at least. So there's going to be a good portion, especially Fridays. There's going to be a good portion of Fridays where I won't be able to be on here. I would love to do a live remote from a show, but again, if you can't put the Beatle music on, they'll block it, especially live. A copyright strike, which I need like a hole in the head. The Mop Tops, correct. And I'm excited about this show because it's a new venue for us on Sunday. A big outdoor amphitheater kind of thing. Expecting thousands of people. Thank God, again, not to go back to this horrible smoke thing, but it was putting the gig in jeopardy because if it didn't clear out like it did today, you can't, in good conscience, obviously have an outdoor concert for 5,000 people with dangerous, smoke in the air and all that stuff. So I'm very happy that I was nervous about that. They would have rescheduled us, but I'm pumped up to play, Nobody wants to. One thing you always worry about in the summertime is thunderstorms and rain. That's a given, but to get smoked out of a show, that's not cool. It doesn't exist. You're having a discussion with a rather rude potential by telling me that you could ship him a DVD for 94-cent stamp. And again, we're talking Canada, right? We're talking Canadian currency. We're talking Canadian denominations. We're talking Canadian stamps, I would imagine. It's a shame, you guys. I know you don't have media mail, which is unfortunate. So we got Karen Young about to chow down on some dinner. We got Popeye probably digesting his pizza already. Who else is eating out there? Who else aspires to eat shortly like me? And who has already consumed their dinner tonight? It is 7:45 here already, so it's a late night for me. But we have some baking stuff going on tonight, so I'm going to be down here for a long time, providing support for Mrs. Flippett to keep her eyes open. Yes, I'm in the wrong in his eyes. That's unbelievable. Yes, Marty, your regular stamps at 92 cents if you bought. Oh, okay, cool. Gotcha. So 94 cents would be an incorrect, arrogant buyer saying that, you're ripping them off with your $1.94 shipping. Grant started buying discounted postage. Cool. That's very true. There's power in sugar, sugar and powdered corn meal or whatever it is. And I think there's a hint of oats in honeycomb. What's funny is the honeycomb, I just dove into them, I don't know, a couple of nights ago. I was starving. I needed something to munch on. I haven't even opened it. She bought like a humongous bag of honeycomb as a snack product, not for cereal, but just a snack on. Like I don't eat cereal. Again, we're gonna say, oh, what are you crazy? But except for grape nuts, I don't put milk in cereal. I just like if I eat cereal, it's just like someone would eat a bag of popcorn or pretzels. I just kind of munch on it. Thank you, Davis, very much. Thanks for coming in. Stay well as well, sir. Thank you very much for coming in. Oh, homemade spaghetti and salad. Beautiful. Discount, did you say? USPS international stamp is $1.45. They have burning stamps in Canada. That's kind of funny. So yeah, dry cereal all the time. One of the greatest things on earth is a fresh bag of Captain Crunch Crunch Berries. Just crispy. Throw them down. Oh, I do like that. Unused postage brought off eBay. Costs around 50%. Oh, very cool. Very cool. You do what you got to do. All right, everybody. I think that's going to wrap it up here on a beautiful Friday evening on the planet Earth. I was going to say in the United States, but of course, half of the viewers are from Canada. So here on planet Earth or North America, or wherever you might be watching from, hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope you stay safe, as they say, but I really do mean that. I hope you stay safe. I hope you find some goodies to sell. I hope you sell a lot of stuff. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, you can reach me via email, which a lot of people do, jimmyflippin@gmail.com, or feel free to leave comments in any of the videos. This is video number 199, which I didn't know until today because I looked at that number. So my next video will be my 200th video. Yay. Thanks to all of you for hanging out tonight. I hope you had a great time. And again, one more plea. If you haven't subscribed but you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see everybody here on Monday. Bye-bye.